Hey, what's up, treasure hunters? I am Joe, the treasure hunting dad, and today I'm bringing to you some treasures that I got at auction and also at the thrift store. Not a lot of volume, but definitely a lot of profit, and you're not going to want to miss these items. So the thrift stores have still been just pretty bare. Something seems different to me. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know exactly what it is. At least the thrift stores around me, I usually can go in there and I might have a bad day or two, like going to one spot, but there are a couple thrift stores that every time I go in, there's absolutely nothing. Not even stuff that I need to do a little research on or that perks my interest. It's just I walk through and that's it. And I'm really not sure, what's going on, but hopefully it turns around holiday season. I don't know if, they're just, again, slow at putting stuff out, or if they are screening things and putting things online, or if, there are more treasure hunters out there just scooping stuff up before I can even see it. I don't know. It is what it is. So I have to make do with what I can find and also what I can find at auction. So I've kind of expanded, my daily searches on different auction sites, estate sale sites and everything, trying to find that value that I can resell for a profit. So today I am going to get into some thrift store finds that I got, and also some other things I purchased at the shop Goodwill, and also some estate auctions, even an estate auction that was local to me, where I got something really, really awesome for an excellent price. So let's get into the first one. This is just a small watercolor. I believe these are irises. It grabbed my attention. I actually had spent some time doing some research on, Etsy SEO, which is search engine optimization. That is how to list, your Etsy listings with keywords in them, and, what keywords bring traffic and conversions, and how you can use different keywords to get more people to your page and hopefully get them to buy your stuff. I found that small paintings actually it's pretty highly searched and purchased more often than larger paintings. That kind of got me to look a little bit harder in the small painting area. And this is a pretty normal, nothing too crazy painting. This is signed, I think it says K. Wong. It does have a stamp, a Chinese or Japanese stamp. I'm pretty sure it's Chinese. And I picked this up for a couple $, and this isn't something crazy. I could probably resell it for around the $50 range, but at this point, anything that, I can spend a couple $, and still, make towards 50 off of it, I'm definitely going to pick up at this point. So this is nothing crazy, but just a nice little painting here. So this next piece I got also at a Goodwill, and I picked this one up for around $7. This is an original watercolor. You can see it's really well done. It's professionally framed and matted. And anytime I see a small watercolor like this, usually they have stuff like this priced more around $4 or $5. But, it's only a couple $, and I knew exactly who the artist was, because even though the painting isn't signed, they have this informational piece. And it's Marianne Boyson. And I already have a piece of hers that I found at the thrift store. So I did that research already. As soon as I saw her name on the back, I just grabbed it and knew I was going to buy it, because her work tends to sell pretty nicely. I mean, the larger pieces, I think I have the other piece priced around $300. This is obviously a lot smaller. From learning from Dr. Lori, one thing she said was winter landscapes, out of all the landscapes, tend to sell the best. And I think it's due to kind of the Christmas factor, and also the whiteness of all the snow is very calming. Same with like seascapes, the blueness is very calming. So people tend to gravitate towards those kind of paintings, at least in the landscape sense. This was $7. I'll probably price this around 100 to 125 in that area. So we're gonna switch it up here. And this one I got from Shop Goodwill. Obviously not framed, came in a tube. I saw this when there was a couple minutes to go and it was sitting at, I don't know, $7.99 or something. Thought it was really cool. I always am drawn towards animal, especially realistic animal artwork. And this one is an artist proof, 4 out of 50. And it's titled Elephant Composition. And it was done by Carolyn Schultz in 1979. Just did a quick search and she did all sorts of animal like compositions like this. So this one happens to be elephants, and you know, I saw a bunch of other animals, sea animals, that sort of thing. I would like to put this in a frame, even if I have to trim the top and the bottom to get it fit better. It's just it's really difficult, obviously, to take good photographs of something that wants to roll up. So I'll probably try to find a frame for this, but I couldn't really pass it up for, you know, $7.99, and then the shipping was around the same. So it was about $15 total, and her work was selling in the $200 to $300 range. So the next piece here I actually got from an estate auction, and the auction was held in Canada. So I actually purchased 3 pieces from there. This was the one piece that I did not know who the artist was. Like I wasn't able to match a signature to an artist. It is signed down here, Manolo. And I did some searches, found a whole bunch of people with their first name Manolo, last name Manolo, nicknames Manolo. It was kind of overwhelming, but I could not get the match on the signature. And you can see here that the signature is a bit different because it says man and then the OLO is underneath. So I also did searches around, maybe it's MRN instead of man, and that's like it's done in 2000 with something in between. I don't know. I was trying to pull at anything I could to try to match the signature up, but still couldn't do it. This is an acrylic on board. I did have, I was in one of Dr. Lori's classes, and I had her appraise this. She said that she agreed, couldn't match the signature. She said it was likely by a Spanish painter. She said she approximated the value around like $350, which is good because I only paid 70 to 100. The whole 3 paintings that I got was around 300 and change, but it was in Canadian, so I don't know exactly what I paid for everything, but I would say between 75 and $100 for this. So if I could resell it for $350, that'd be awesome. I did find one person who's actually French. His first name was Manolo, and he was more of a photographer and graphic designer, but he also did abstract paintings, and his graphic design stamp had the MAN with the OLO under it. So I got to look more into that. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to be able to figure out exactly who the artist is on this, and just going to have to sell it as a non-objective piece. Still pretty cool, colorful, kind of grabbed my attention, and I think I will probably price it in the $200 to $350 range. Here's the second piece that I got from that Canadian estate auction. This is obviously a landscape. Nighttime, you can see the moon, river, and everything. It's very detailed and nicely done. And this is done by Edward Scrope Shrapnel. It's titled On Fletcher Lake. It is signed on the painting itself. And when I saw this, I just searched, the artist, and most of his work I saw were selling around $800 to $1,200. This one is a little bit smaller than the pieces I saw, but I got this for, again, around $75 to $100. So I'll probably price this in the $600 to $800 range. professionally framed, nicely matted, in very good condition. And these types of landscapes, you know, tend to sell pretty well. So hopefully I'll be able to flip this one pretty quickly. Here's the last painting that I got from that Canadian estate auction. And this is another landscape, but it's a bit different because there is this structure in it. But again, very nicely done, very detailed. This frame is actually pretty heavy. So it's all professionally done. And this was done by Thomas Gray. And again, it was pretty easy to read his signature. They also identified the artist. I just did a quick search and found his work, you know, was selling between $400 and $600. So my thinking is when I'm purchasing something from an estate sale, say in Canada, you know, shipping is going to be expensive. If I can put more things, you know, in one box and get it all shipped, it drops the shipping price down per item. And I can, again, make more profit if I can find those valuable items. If I was just going to buy this, I probably wouldn't have bid on it, but I already had won the other two. You know, I could lump this one in with the other two and still make a really nice profit. Here's a quick look at the back. Just pretty standard, just, you know, gallery paper on the back. Nothing crazy, no writing or anything. That's kind of how all of them were. Again, I'll probably list this one, you know, in the $400 to $600 range. So here's the next piece. I actually got this at a restore, which is run by Habitat for Humanity. I think it was the second or third time I went in there, and I talked to the lady at the counter, and she said, you know, she's like, oh, wow, I really like this painting. You know, I was thinking about getting it for myself, but I have no room, blah, blah, blah. And I asked her, you know, how often do you guys get art in here? Because most of the stuff in there is furniture and, you know, that sort of thing. And she's like, oh, all the time. So I guess their turnover is pretty high in the art department. So I'm probably going to have to stop back there more often. The only thing is they're only open Thursday through Sunday. And I don't know if that is indicative of all the restores or just the one that is near my house. Anyway, this is a watercolor. It was done by Don Getz and it is signed. And I was able to do a couple searches and then came across the right one. Very detailed, very nice, pretty neutral in color. So that's always good, in a very nice professional frame. And then the back, you can see, again, professionally done. And down here is the local Gallery One, which has a lot of, you know, great artwork. I find a lot of stuff from Gallery One at the thrift stores, and it just says it's an original artwork and, you know, how to take care of it and all that. So it's in excellent condition, and surprisingly, I thought this would, when I first saw it, it would have a higher value. His work, you know, was really only selling in the $200 to $300 range. I didn't see any as nicely framed as this, so I could probably ask for a bit more. It's still a good price. I got this for 25 bucks. I should be able to at least make $200 to $300. So here's the next piece. I actually got this at a Goodwill, and it was $5.19, which is pretty common for this size of artwork. This is a colored woodblock print, and if you've seen any videos where I do find woodblock prints, I really am drawn to them. I like them a lot. Really cool. It is signed and numbered. It's out of 300. This was done by Toshijiro Inagaki. I probably messed that up. I just did a couple searches around the signature that I could make out and, you know, ended up finding his work. And I think I also did an image search on this and found the exact one selling on some gallery website for around $300 or $400. What I'm going to price this one for, it's in really good condition. Was happy to actually find something at Goodwill. Here's the last thing I'm going to show you today. And this one is the one I got from a local estate auction. I actually had to go pick it up. It's about a 45-minute drive, but definitely well worth it. This is an antique charger, about 17 inches wide. And it is by Villeroy and Bach. and this is Mettlach pottery from Germany. This really wasn't identified in the listing, and I think that kind of, hurt their resale chances, or, selling chances, because this is extremely well done. It's handmade, hand painted. It's got the markings here on the back, and you can see it's ready to hang on a wall. I couldn't find this painting itself with the mermaid, and it's very colorful and stuff. I did find a couple other ones that actually, because this is all incised, and there are other ones that are just have like prints on them that are they're more modern and not very valuable compared to the older pieces like this. I think this was made probably in the 1910s and 1920s. I picked this up for $100. It didn't cost me anything to ship because I picked it up. And I saw one other sort of similar piece listed on eBay for like $1,300. Then I saw another one listed for like $600 or $700 that wasn't nearly as like colorful and nice as this one. So I actually listed this one in between there on Etsy. I listed it for $1,000, and I also listed it on eBay. And right after I listed it, I already had 6 watchers. That's always a good sign when a bunch of people start watching something you just posted. So hopefully I'll be able to at least get an offer for this. And I'd accept, anything in the $700 to $750 range or above, which is probably a good value for the buyer. It's also, really good profit for me. So I'm cool with that. So those are my recent finds at the thrift store and at the estate sales and online auctions and all that good stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about anything I showed, just leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As always, I appreciate everybody that watches my videos and listens to me ramble on about these different treasures and stuff. It's fun for me, and I hope everybody learns something. I'm just passing along things that I've learned. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I just, I'm trying to intake as much as I can and then pass it along to you guys. So hope you, at least get some good tips, tricks, and things to look for when you're out treasure hunting. So with that being said, I do wish you all the best of luck out there treasure hunting, and I will see you in the next video.
Daddy, what did you play?